Now, as we see it, more exit poll numbers are in for the state of Bihar. And like yesterday, the message from most pollsters remains broadly consistent. The NDA continues to hold the edge over the Mahagathbandhan, though the race remains competitive, at least in several regions. But let's take you through the latest numbers coming in today. So the first one is from Axis My India. Of the total of 243 assembly seats being fought in Bihar, now this exit poll, that is by Axis My India, gives the NDA 121 seats to 141 seats. And yes, the Mahagathbandhan 98 to 118 seats. The Suraaj party anywhere between 0 and 2 seats, and others would get anywhere from 1 to 7 seats according to Axis My India. So in terms of vote share, now this exit poll has pegged NDA at 43%, Mahagathbandhan at 41%, the Suraaj party at 4%, and others at 12%. Yes, a tight 2-point gap, but enough to give the NDA the advantage, at least if this trend holds on counting day. The other exit poll that we've been looking at is from Vote Vibe, and it gives the NDA 125 to 145, the Mahagathbandhan 95 to 115, the Suraaj party 0 to 2 seats, and others get anywhere between 1 and 3. So that's the picture emerging in that exit poll. But again over here, the NDA crosses the halfway mark, and quite comfortably at that, which again reinforces yesterday's pattern. And the other exit poll today comes from today's Chanakya. It gives the NDA 160 plus or minus 12 seats, the Mahagathbandhan 77 plus or minus 12 seats, and others 6, and that's plus or minus 3 seats. So today's Chanakya projects a clear and a decisive majority for the NDA, with the alliance possibly touching the 160-seat mark. And that brings us to the consolidated NDTV poll of polls, where we aggregate all the exit polls and then we bring them together, and that's the kind of picture that is emerging. So when you look at the numbers over here, of the total of 243 seats in Bihar, according to the NDTV poll of polls, the NDA may get 146, the Mahagathbandhan 92 seats, and the Suraaj party only 1 seat. The others would get, according to the poll of polls, 4 seats. So the overall picture, it remains consistent with what we reported yesterday, the NDA ahead, the Mahagathbandhan trailing, and then the smaller players, they're unlikely to alter the balance, as it were, in the larger scheme of things. Then the question is, what stands out from this second round of exit polls that we're talking about? Well, momentum is still with the NDA. The alliance continues to lead across most pollsters, consolidating gains in northern as well as central Bihar. Mahagathbandhan holding ground in some pockets of the state. It remains competitive in parts of Simanchal and Mithilanchal, but it hasn't closed the gap statewide, and that's the important takeaway. But smaller parties stay marginal. Neither the Suraaj party nor the independents appear to have enough clout, enough traction to influence the final outcome if you go at the entire trend, which is largely consistent. The larger takeaway remains unchanged. Bihar appears to be leaning towards the NDA, though margins differ across agencies. Of course, the 14th of November, and that's not too far away, the numbers that matter most are going to come from the counting center. And that's when we'll know whether these projections hold up or if Bihar throws up a surprise or not.